Get ready for a big warm-up, tons of sunshine, and then another weak system that pushes through Saturday night. Hey everyone, good afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Darrell Winninger from the Central Oregon Daily Weather Center. And across the high desert on this Thursday, we've had the sunshine. There have been in and out clouds, and all of that was part of a cold front that was pushing through the Pacific Northwest. Now this cold front was dry, but temperatures dropped significantly and put us close to average for this time of the year. Now through the next couple of minutes, we're going to take a deep dive into your most reliable forecast. Look at what's been happening through the day, what's going to change as we wrap up the work week, go into the weekend, and then the beginning of June, and how that's really going to impact us. So, starting off, we have a lot of sun across the high desert, very little cloud cover, and it is very dry. And this is, that cloud cover is part of that weak front that I was already talking about. In the next couple of days, we keep the sunshine, but add warming. So temperatures are going to be climbing out of the 70s and well into the 80s. But first, we do have satellite and radar. And satellite and radar does show that weak cold front still pushing through. On the back side of it, a ridge of high pressure. And this high pressure is going to build into the region and stay parked for a couple of days. Now, way out over the Pacific Ocean, we already have our next system. But before we look at that, let's look at another version of satellite. Currently, you're looking at satellite and radar. Radar shows no precipitation in sight. Satellite shows those clouds thinning out. And this is infrared satellite going from visible and infrared blend straight to infrared. What we notice is a couple of things. First, there's our next system way out over the Pacific Ocean, almost straight above where you can see my face. And through the Tri-County area, we can see the remnants of that cold front and some clouds still pushing through. And the remnants of the cold front really across the Pacific Northwest, totally. And right now there's just a light breeze. You can tell that because of the isobars. Those white lines, constant lines of pressure, are kind of spread out over the high desert, meaning that winds aren't booking it too much just yet. Now, as we go forward, we start to see the influence of this ridge of high pressure, and that high is centered out over the Pacific Ocean, almost wedged between us and that next cold front. This next system, that next cold front, is going to push through the high desert, but not until we get to Saturday night. And already it looks like it's almost petering out, and that trend is going to continue as well. Further out over the Pacific Ocean, there's another stronger system way out there, and that's really not going to impact us until much later. By then, it's not even going to be as intense as it is right now. Now, high temperatures across Central Oregon, some of these are actually holdovers from yesterday, where we had the 91 in Warm Springs, 82 in Sisters, and 81 in Lapina. When I say holdovers, what that really means is this is a look back at the last 24 hours. So this time yesterday, we still had some of those temperatures that were much higher, even 88 in Paulina, but right here, right now, we're sitting in the 70s. A few 80s today, possibly, yeah, absolutely. It was totally in the forecast too. And right now, these temperatures, even though we had a cool down running between 7 and 13 degrees cooler than 24 hours ago, we're still sitting above that average high of 72 in Redmond and 68 in Bend. Now, when it comes to the temperature trend, we're going to be falling back into the 40s overnight. By tomorrow, warming up quickly. Look at that. By noon, we're already through the 70s and reaching into the 80s by 1 p.m. And then we go further through the 80s. By the time we top out tomorrow, we're looking at mid to upper 80s and some low 90s. On top of that, we have very little cloud cover expected through the next 24 hours, really the next 36 hours. And so what that means for us is the UV intensity forecast is going to be bumped up tomorrow to 10. Now remember, this is on a scale of 1 to 11, and then we go 11 plus after, because 11 is extreme, and through the day Friday, we're going to be close to that extreme marker, just below it at 10. And then through the day Saturday, it dips down a little bit because some afternoon clouds. By Sunday, it drops down to high. It won't be very high anymore, but that still means that you're still going to need some sun protection if you're spending a lot of time outside on Sunday. And remember, we're not looking at much in the way of precipitation at all. And then by Monday, the UV forecast goes up once again. But when it comes to very high UV index, what that means for us is you'll need to think about safety if you're spending a lot of time outdoors. And when I say a lot of time, we're talking more than 2 hours. If you're less than 2 hours, make sure you use sunscreen. But either way, you'll need sunglasses and sunscreen if you're going to be spending a lot of time outside. And if you're spending that 2 hours plus outside, you might want to consider a hat or even protective clothing, something with a high UPF. Now, if you start to get tired or sun exhausted, you'll want to seek the shade and make sure you stay hydrated, and if needed, just avoid the sun. Now, as we go forward, we are going to see that go up and down as well, but the big thing that a lot of people are going to be talking about is that temperature profile. So let's go ahead and look at a forecast model that uses geopotential height instead of rain and cloud cover, because we know it's going to be dry. We know we have tons of sunshine, but this high pressure is going to be super intense, and a dome of high pressure just builds over the Pacific Northwest. As it does that, we're looking at highs in the 80s with a few 90s. By Saturday, that next front starts to roll in. We begin to see the impacts. By the afternoon, more clouds are expected. Highs still in the 80s, though. We really don't see that dip in temperatures until Sunday. At that time, we're looking at highs in the 70s with a few 60s and still dry. Now, by Saturday and Sunday, it is going to be gusty at times, but that knocks us back down to near average for this time of the year. And by the beginning of next week, Sunday is June the 1st, and by Monday, the beginning of June still, we're looking at a gradual warming trend that brings us back above average for this time of the year. Meanwhile, our forecast model shows that this high pressure is just staying put. That means very little cloud cover tonight or Friday. By Saturday, the PM brings increasing clouds. By Sunday, AM clouds, PM clearing, but notice that precipitation really didn't push through the high desert. The system is almost redeveloping on the other side of Central Oregon, so by Saturday night going into Sunday, we're still going to be dry. And what that means for us is winds are still going to be gusty, but we get the dip in temperature, so we only get portions of that cold front. We don't even get the whole thing because it's starting to break apart. Now let's look at the GFS. This is a long-range forecast model. Now it's not high resolution, but it helps paint a picture of what's going to happen down the road. And our forecast model for the GFS shows that by Sunday night, we're back to clear conditions. By Monday, sunshine. By Tuesday, sunshine and some clouds, but not a lot of them. And even Wednesday, it's mostly clear to partly cloudy, and that just continues through most of next week. So between now and Saturday at 11 p.m., some showers west of the Cascades, but the mountains really absorb most of that moisture. Meanwhile, talking about winds, winds have been mostly at a light breeze today. Through the Cascades, it is a little on the gusty side. You can see those stronger winds, but these are just wind gusts. So those gusts between 10 and 16 miles per hour. Actual wind speeds are more like 5 to 15 miles per hour. And here through the afternoon stays breezy at times, but then overnight, a gentle breeze. By Friday, during the afternoon and evening, wind speeds pick up again, but by Saturday, stronger winds are expected. Winds are going to be gusty at times because of that next cold front. So for tonight, 40s are in the planner for most of the high desert. By Friday, we're looking at mid to upper 80s, low 90s, and then Saturday still keeping that warmth, but dipping down just a little bit. By Sunday, we're back to average. Notice through the entirety of the 7-day planner, there's no precipitation in sight. Winds do get breezy at times, and under tons of sunshine, we gradually warm through the 70s to either side of 80 degrees by Wednesday and Thursday. That's the latest in weather. Join us tonight on Central Oregon Daily News. We'll have the latest headlines and your most reliable forecast, but a quick recap of those headlines. The seasonal seesaw continues. Heating trend is expected Friday and Saturday with a pleasant start to June. Y'all have a good one.